And the education content that they're putting on here today, tomorrow, and Thursday is second to none. And some of the people that I have the honor of introducing, except for Randy Bartlett next, but we'll talk about him later on. Is everybody ready to get some education? Yes. No. Is everybody ready to get some education? Yes. The reason you're here, yes, we are in Vegas, we're here to party, have a good time. But when you're sitting here, take as many notes as you can, talk to as many people as you can, because you never know where you're going to get a nugget. You're going to get a nugget out there, in here, wherever the case may be. So right now, let me introduce to you, I want to talk very, very nicely about this man. This man is amazing. Having met Jeremy a few months ago, and from the thriving tropics of South Dakota, oh yeah, I thought it was bad in Connecticut. Bless you, Jeremy, that's all I got to say. Jeremy Brech, wedding lighting, tips, tricks, and upsells. That's what this is all about today. Jeremy Brech, aka DJ Jer, is a nationally recognized entertainer in the Midwest and wedding entertainment director. For over 16 years, Jeremy has been entertaining crowds through weddings, school events, corporate events, and fundraisers. Jeremy is also an award-winning entertainer and lighting designer. Today, get those pens ready, get those fingers ready, get some education. My honor to introduce Mr. Jeremy Brech.
Thank you, Big Daddy. Really appreciate it. I'm very excited to be here. We're going to work on the audio as we kind of get going here, but it's a huge privilege for me to be speaking on behalf of Chauvet DJ. My first setup I ever bought was Chauvet Lighting, and to tell you the truth, one of the lights I still have still works, and they make a quality product, they make a great product, and the best thing right now is Chauvet DJ is learning what you want so they can create the fixtures that you're looking for that's going to help your business succeed. So to start off, again, we're talking about wedding lighting. We have other presentations going on this week, but today it's going to be mainly focused on the wedding lighting and the ambiance that you can create for your wedding couples. Like Big Daddy said, I am part of the Wedding Entertainment Directors. It's an honor for me to be a part of 25 of some of the amazing minds in the wedding industry, and I know there's plenty of them out there. If you're interested, come talk to me. I'd be happy to visit with you about that. The other thing is, I don't know, some of you have come up to me and said, hey, I love your videos. I thank you so much for that feedback. I run a little YouTube channel. Now there's a little website that we put together for DJ Jer Shop Time. It is the equipment you have doing videos on how you can use it to its fullest potential. So you might have a pin spot. You might have questions on how to create this technique, how to create this environment. That's exactly what these videos are. And you know what? It's free education. I'm not asking for any, I mean, if you want to pay me, you can. But I'm not asking for any monetary, anything like that. I just want to help build the lighting industry, because you know what, there's amazing events out there looking for amazing lighting designers, and if I can help you guys be one of those amazing lighting designers, I want to do that. So if you have questions on this, feel free to come talk to me afterwards. I'll be happy to visit with you a little bit more about that. But what we're going to talk about is how to build your inventory, how to start from the ground up. I know, how many of you already have lighting, ambient lighting I should say? Okay, is there anybody who doesn't have it that is looking and getting into ambient lighting? So everybody has ambient lighting right now. Okay, we'll focus on you then. The next thing is, how do you charge for effects? How do you get your return on investment? How do you exceed the expectations while gaining profits? Improving setup time and aesthetics, and how do you upsell the upsell? So those are all the things that we're going to cover. The first thing is, everybody asks, do you do uplighting? Because bride and grooms do not know that there are more options than just single uplighting going around a room. That's because they see pictures when they work at facilities or they talk to facilities. They'll say, yes, we have uplighting, and they're going to sell you the single par uplighting. I want someone to ask me this question later. So the question I want you to ask later is, how do you get the uplighting How do you sell the uplighting to a bride and groom when the facility already has uplighting? Okay, how many of you guys have that problem right now? Facility already has it, I don't need your uplighting. I'm going to show you how you can be the one that they're going to book for their lighting instead of the facilities, without pissing off the facility. So uplighting. Uplighting is all about using the things around you. Look at the different opportunities you have. Here is a picture of a facility that we did, and you can see they have stone walls. That stone has such an amazing texture, and when you can put uplighting on there, again, you have to you have to be the professional. When they come to you asking for questions on how should I uplight this room or how should we set this room up, you have to give them the answers. Don't give them your opinion, give them the answers. If you can show them what it looks like with textures and the ambiance you can create with using lighting on a textured background, it's going to be an easy sell. This is one, we actually had cocktail hour on the back side of this draping and all this, the reception on this side. Over here, I don't know if you can see it right here, these are actually crystal pillars. And just by putting a freedom par up inside of that crystal pillar, we can now change the colors of that pillar. We can give them the ambiance, and by using the lighting in there, it just gives those pillars a different type of personality. It looks amazing. Simple uplighting, going straight up, but we have a monogram. One of the things that lighting designers make mistakes on is they will just do uplighting all the way around the room, the same exact straight up and down. If you have a monogram, your lighting should never cut into that monogram, because now you have conflicting issues with a beautiful monogram and your uplighting that you have going around the room. So that is just a little basics on uplighting. Some of the fixtures that we have, you can see we have freedoms throughout the room. The other ones, if you haven't seen these yet, these are the Hex 6, and the Hex 6 actually have RGB, A, W, and ultraviolet. Now, a lot of people ask, why would you need ultraviolet? I'm not looking to turn the wedding into a black light party. And that's exactly right. You are exactly right. That is not what you want to do with a UV fixture. With these fixtures, right now you can see that fluorescent pink. You can create such vibrant colors with that UV in there. And if you really want to open up your color palettes, that UV is going to allow you to do that. So again, go down to the showroom, talk to some of the representatives down there and ask them about some of the uplighting fixtures. The next thing that we really work on is the wash lighting. Wash lighting's been very popular. Now, what's the difference between wash lighting and uplighting? Wash lighting is going to be a broader spread of light. It's not as tight. And there's certain facilities, and again, this is where you have to be the professional and you need to let them know what's the better option. We have certain facilities where it's so broken up and there's nicks and crannies through the entire room. Well, I can tell you a wash light's going to work a lot better. And I can show pictures to a client and show them this is what it looks like with uplighting. Not very good. And then you show them what the wash lighting can do and how it makes a nice spread in the room. So for example, this was a corporate event we did, and it was just a brick wall, ugly brick wall. And if you want to see before and afters, I've got them on my iPad. I'd be happy to show you. This was basically, it was like a bomb shelter. This was a corporate event we did, and it was for an IT. They have no windows. There's absolutely nothing. So it's all concrete. And all we did was put a nice wash on there. It accents that brick. We made brick beautiful. And you guys can do that too. The wash lighting, the reason we did that is because we didn't want it to look like a barcode all the way through this long wall. This was an event that we did. We just did a nice amber or a nice warm color to create a beautiful ambiance. You can see these patterns right here. I can tell you, if you are not currently doing patterns and textures, you are missing out on a huge market. There's great return on investment on simple patterns and simple textures, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. You can see them on the dance floor here, our 9-foot by 9-foot dance floor. We can fit about 5 people on here later if you guys want to dance with us. But the textures and patterns, again, the reason we did the wash with that is because we wanted to create the full ambiance and the full room color to be the same and not have, again, that barcode feel behind the draping. This was an event which we call this actually a contrasting uplighting. Where we have wash lighting, we use the color strips, and then we did the slim pars in between each one of them. And it just created a nice separation of color. This was a corporate event that was a masquerade party. So we actually understood the colors that were used here to create that theme. We got so in depth with this theme that the chandeliers that they typically have in the room, we actually covered them up because they looked absolutely nothing like the atmosphere they were looking for. And we brought in these 3 gold chandeliers over on the side. We mounted those into the ceiling because we have to understand what our clients are looking for. If they want a masquerade theme, we're going to give them a masquerade theme. But the colors we used here is a deep purple and a red because that was the masquerade colors. That was that feel that they were trying to achieve.
Now, Jeremy, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
For an item like that, what is your typical charge in lighting versus what you've invested in your equipment?
The return on investment, here's kind of my rule of thumb when it comes to return on investment. If you cannot pay off a fixture in 3 to 5 events, probably not your best investment. We would typically charge, you can, let's see, the pars, you can get anywhere from $90 up to $300. And I'm going to tell you how you get a return on investment on a $300 uplight. I will walk through that. I will tell you exactly how to do that. You can charge anywhere for a single uplight, you can charge anywhere from $35 to $55. If you're doing wireless, you can charge up to $75 to $85 per uplight. I know you're thinking that's outrageous, but when you can show them the results you can create with a Freedom Par, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. They will pay for the cleanliness and the features that you can create with that Freedom Par. I talked about the patterns, the textures. Again, patterns and textures are such a popular thing for us. We do so many theme events, we do so many corporate events, and by using Gobo projectors like the 75 is an amazing fixture. It has the color wheel, it has the zooming, it's DMX, so you can do so much with these fixtures. And again, we'll show you a little bit about some of those things as well. So first of all, we did American Harvest. American Harvest was actually a company that put Grey Goose on the map. They had actually purchased Grey Goose originally, and they sold it off. They could not sell alcohol. They could not sell a white alcohol for the next 4 years until their contract was up with that Grey Goose event, or sale. So they had an event that they wanted to just make it just clubby, and they wanted to really brand themselves. And you can see the Chauvet DJ logo here. It's the same exact thing. But what we did with this is, this up here is actually the Gobo Zoom 2.0. And these right here are actually our moving heads that are mounted into the ceiling. And those pattern, or the logo, would actually scan around the room. You'd be amazed how many people would sit there and just watch that logo. So by adding simple things like a moving head and a gobo or a texture, you can create very good return on investment. That gobo cost me, I think, 39 cents. You get duplicates, so on and so on. I think we had 5 different scanning gobos going on. With that, we can charge the client $225 for having their logo scanning the room, or $225 for a stationary gobo. Again, try to figure out how you're going to get your return on investment, make sure it's worth it for you. And I'm going to touch base a little bit more on moving heads and how you can use moving heads to their fullest potential. Excuse me. This is a wedding that we did. Again, just by doing simple patterns, the patterns that you see here are probably our most popular pattern that we work with. That pattern cost me $13, and I believe it's a Roscoe or it's Apollo. I cannot remember, I apologize for that. But that pattern cost me $12. I sell that pattern, one single pattern, right here. I can sell this pattern for $125. And I can reuse that pattern over and over and over. The monogram. How many of you do monograms currently? Monograms are very popular. Because if brides and grooms want to separate their event, they want to make their event about them, they want to brand their event, they want to make it their style, monograms are perfect. Because monograms allow them to put their name in front of everybody, and it allows them to show off their style of event. You know, when you're making a monogram, it might be the style of script you use, it might be the date they put on there. But we allow our clients to decide what they want. We'll design 5 concepts for them. If they don't like those, we'll design 5 new ones. But I can tell you, we can sell a monogram for $175 to $225 to a client.
And you can also print your own monograms too.
And you can.
And you can.
The Gobo shots, we're actually going to have, I don't know how many of you are here tomorrow for our workshop or our seminar, but tomorrow we also have the Gobo shots, and we're going to be using those in different techniques as well, so you'll get to see a little bit how we use those, and those are actually very good when it comes to the print because it does not melt your plastic.
Yeah, there's a couple of them actually. We have the Gobo Zoom 2.0
Yep.
and then the Gobo Shot 50 Watt IRC, which both of them you can print your own Gobos on transparency paper using your colored inkjet printer, which ultimately works out to be about 50 cents per Gobo. And you can utilize them, and you can charge considerably more than 50 cents for that particular feature. Now, granted, when you're dealing with something that's, you know, a higher scale, you know, more upscale, and your client is paying a considerable amount of money, then you make the investment and you purchase the metal or glass Gobos, which you can also upcharge for as well, but you can easily make them on your own. And if you go to our website, we have a video on our YouTube tutorial as to how to do that as well.
And you know, one of the other things, I was just on, I think it was DJ Idea Sharing. One of the questions was, you know, how do you print a Gobo for this? There's actually, Apollo does, is it print screen or print scene?
I don't know.
If you contact your
Not gonna lie.
If you contact your rep, they can actually do plastic and not glass, but they can do a much better print on a plastic than you can. Not saying you can't do it, but if you want a better quality and you still want to go with the plastic or the transparency, they do have those options. So contact your distributors on those. This that you see here, this was actually an Alice in Wonderland wedding we did 2 years ago. And that glass Gobo, it cost me, it was a full color glass Gobo, cost me $325. I still got a return on investment because I charged the client $500 for this effect.
Woo.
One of the things you have to think about is you don't charge them for the light, you don't charge them for the fixture, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. You need to charge them for the effect. Charge them for what you're creating. What we had, Cheshire Cat, he would actually scan the room, he would disappear, he would show up in different places. Again, a simple Gobo can create such a cool atmosphere. This was the other part. There's large mushrooms in the background, and actually my business cards up here has a picture of the Alice in Wonderland wedding that we did on the front side. But again, just doing textures and patterns, we created a mushroom. This was just a regular umbrella that was used, a table umbrella. By putting a pattern on there, we created a whole different feel for that little umbrella. We made it look like a mushroom. We had totems basically holding up the umbrella. We glowed that from the bottom. And again, throwing a pattern on there, it gives it a complete different texture or a complete different feel, and now it looks like a mushroom. So again, understand your options when it comes to monograms and patterns. This pattern here was a custom pattern. We had a bride and groom that said, I love the pattern that you have, but I want something completely different. Listen to your clients. If they don't want the same thing, don't try to sell them the same thing, and don't try to sell them things that you already have. If they're willing to pay more for a custom Gobo, charge them for it. You can get your return on investment on it. The next thing, which I'm very excited about, everybody is sitting right underneath one right now, the easy pins. How many of you have seen any information on the easy pins yet? Okay, if you haven't, I would recommend going to the Chauvet DJ website and go read about these easy pins. They are amazing. Now, yes, there's competitors out there that you can spend 3 times the money, almost 4 times the money, and think about your return on investment. Are you going to be able to charge 4 times that amount than what you can for a regular pin spot? Our pin spots, we start at $39 per table. I set these up, obviously, I mean, granted I can reach it, but we can set all these pin spots in 5 minutes, maybe less than 5 minutes. Before, when I had to put all my pin spots on a bar, run cords through ceiling panels, how many of you have done that? That's a nightmare. Sometimes it takes us longer to do pin spotting than it does any other thing. But this will help you in so many different ways. A, the fixture is white for a reason.
Pull it down, pull it down.
I can do that.
Magnetic.
So the reason it's white is because most of the places that you're going to be working in, the ceilings are white. It does have magnetic base. It also has a scissor clip. The scissor clip we're actually using on the LS75 right now. And it's a very strong clip. It'll hold in place for you. The other nice thing, if you have a chance, I don't know if we have, yeah, we have one up here. You can take a look at it afterwards. But there is a loop on that scissor clip. That loop actually allows you to hang things such as Tuscany Lighting. How many of you are familiar with Tuscany Lighting? The big light bulbs that basically go around the room. That will allow you to actually connect onto there. And again, it just gives you more diversity than just a single pin spot that's going to be mounted up into the ceiling. So pin spotting is very effective. Again, you're going to buy these. You can buy a 6-pack of these. I don't know what the show price is right now, but a 6-pack, they're $3.99 for a 6-pack. You're looking at a very good investment, and your return on investment you will have in about 2 to 3 events. I promise you. You should be charging $39+ to do pin spotting on tables. And again, with the aesthetics of this, it's going to give you a huge advantage because now you don't have a black fixture coming off of the ceiling. And we tested it. We ran subs as hard as you can. There's no vibration that's going to make that fall off. The battery is a 6 to 8 hour. It also has an IRC remote. So in the morning, you go around, you put all your lights in there, you shoot the switch on the back, flip that switch on. When it's time for your event, 10 minutes before people arrive, you just shoot that remote at those, and they'll turn on for you, and it'll light up the centerpieces like you see there.
And I see a question in the back over there. Hang on one second.
Do you need any form of safety chain for them? Because
No.
in the
That's what actually the scissor clip is for. The
Okay.
scissor clip is kind of that safety feature. The reason we put the magnet in there is just because sometimes you're not going to have a false ceiling that you want to connect to, but you still need to connect to something. So that will allow you with that magnet. It gives you a little more versatility on how you want to mount that in there.
They weigh under a pound for these.
Yeah, they are-
I'm going to say like ounces for each one of them.
They're under a half a pound. They're actually 0.4 pounds. So they're very light, and again, they're beautiful. I love them. Anyways, back to...
And just FYI, the show price on these for the 6-pack, $340. Normally $399. That's a 6-pack, and it comes with the carry case. It comes with the charger. It comes with gels for everything, and it comes with, more importantly, 6 pin spots. $340, and you can see the good friends over at ITJ now.
What's the beam angle on them?
The beam angle is 4 degrees.
4 degrees.
Yep. And now, one of the things that people always ask questions about is, well, it's a cool white. You're right, it is a cool white. The reason we did the cool white, or it is a cool white, is because not every single event you do is going to want a warm white. The event that you see, well, I'll get to it. This is a cake.
Our cake is on the way, by the way.
Cake spots.
It'll be downstairs in 5 minutes.
It's not edible though, sorry.
No, it won't.
Cakes, this is an easy sell. This is the easiest sell you can make is spotting a cake, because they're going to spend over $100 on a cake. Why would they not spend $39 to see that cake? And one of the things that I learned from Bill Herman from the Entertainment Experience is staging is key. If your cake is over in the corner and no one sees it, why did you buy it? You might as well just got sheet cakes and put them back in the kitchen. So if they're willing to spend over $100, $300, $400, however much money you can imagine.
Pretend my head is a cake.
We won't cut the cake. The reason it's important to spot that cake is because, again, they want to highlight this cake. They want to show it off. So why would you not spend $39? One of the other things, if you're doing more of a framing spot, the nice thing about the 75s is you can actually frame in the cake itself and give it a nice tight feel. So it's not actually with a pin spot. I'm going to show you a cake here in a little bit.
I also just want to bring up something because I like to interrupt you. In the brochures that you have, one of the things you'll notice too is we've shown monograms in here. Now this is a brochure that we produced that you could actually utilize to upsell, but one of the things that we really like is actually monogramming cakes. So let's say that they've purchased a fairly plain cake. You can actually shine the gobos onto it. So this is on the page with uplighting, opposite uplighting, and next to accent lighting. You'll see that what we've done is we've focused in on the cake with the gobos. So it's a really great look, and what it does is it helps people who are on a budget who don't necessarily want to spend $500 on a cake, but can spend $100 upsell on a monogram that they can utilize at other times within the wedding. So this is a really great opportunity for you to help them make budget conscious decisions on their own and look at it from the bride's perspective, the groom's perspective, and continue to upsell your wedding.
So I want to touch base again on why the cool white. And the nice thing is these packs actually have a filter to create a warm white. So you have the versatility to create the two different color temperatures.
We have a question about the pin spot.
Oh, okay.
What if you have really high ceilings? All the venues we do are really high. How does it look then?
You know what? I'm not going to lie to you, they're so new that I have not had a chance to play around with them and see exactly what it would do. Obviously, the further away you go, the bigger the beam's going to be. Which, truthfully, I'll show you an example of one of the options of not just using it as a pin spot, but actually how to make that entire table glow. So I'll show you that here. I'm pretty sure I have it in this presentation. I know it's in tomorrow's for sure. Mitch?
When the battery dies, then what happens?
It turns off. No. It's a lithium. It's not going to, it's not going to flicker. It's not going
It's not going to cause seizures.
Yeah,
okay?
we will not
There's
break
no
anybody into an
seizures.
epileptic seizure. It is rechargeable, yes. It
It's
actually
3 hours
takes
on a
3
recharge.
hours. It takes 3 hours to recharge those lights. So Mitch, just run up there real quick, grab it, plug it in for 3 hours. You can finish out the last 15 minutes of your event. So I talked about the warm white and the cool white. Now the reason the cool white's important is because not every single event you do is going to ask for warm white. There are certain centerpieces where they'll put the cool white LEDs inside like this gel and you know, you've seen those centerpieces. The last thing you want to do is put a warm white on there because now you have conflicting colors, you have conflicting temperatures. By having a cool white, and you can see the cool blue in the background there, obviously we want to match the theme of the event. So by having the cool blue uplighting, we also have to use a cool white pin spot to create that same effect and to give it the full theme. I talked about a wedding cake. This wedding cake right here was $3,500 just for the cake. I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually butterflies. There's little butterflies kind of on the left side of the cake there. What we did, instead of using a regular pin spot to spot this cake, we actually got the Gobo Zoom 2.0. We got a frost filter, a frost Gobo. We put that in there, which gives it a little bit of texture, a little bit of depth. We put it on a very slow rotation, and as it rotated, it actually made the butterflies look like there was movement to it. So just doing little things can create big results. This was a corporate event that we did. I think I talked to somebody yesterday, we were talking about the Halloween event that we did. This Halloween event was, I'm not gonna lie, it was amazing. They spent, just in production, just in setup and lighting, they spent over $13,000 just in lighting. They're doctors, they have the budget for it. This is in South Dakota, okay? You can see what we did with the pin spotting here. We actually had, up here, you can see, we actually got ceiling tiles. We cut a square in the ceiling tile and we put a wireless fixture up there. We glowed the whole table green. Now, if we wouldn't have pin spotted, all of their floral that they spent hundreds of dollars on would have been green. So by adding the pin spots, we have the green table, and now we illuminated these centerpieces and also some of the candles, so it made them pop and it didn't look like it was green candles and green centerpieces. Again, you really have to understand the results you're looking for. Any questions on pin spotting? If you have not looked at we'll give you an opportunity, but if you have not looked at these easy pins, I would highly recommend taking a look at them. If you want the best return on investment you will get in 2014, that's your answer right there. Moving heads. You can do so much with moving heads. These right here, this is actually that same event. You can see, here's that centerpiece with the cool white and all the cool blue. And then all we did here is we got certain patterns. It was a star field pattern. We split that into a tri-prism, and then we just made that slowly rotate. This was a snowball event we did. And by doing that, it just gives the room a little bit more depth, a little bit more personality, and it gives them an atmosphere that they're looking for, as opposed to it just being blue. Again, textures and patterns, if you're not doing them, that's gonna be a great investment for you. This was a wedding we did in a tent. This was a tent for 600 people for a wedding up in Hitchcock, South Dakota. There's actually 300 people in that entire town, but they had 600 people at their wedding. So every surrounding town was at this wedding. But you can see, we did the same exact pattern, but it gives it a different feel because we created a different atmosphere. We had a snowball, and now we have an outdoor wedding or an outdoor feel. The bride said, I want to have my wedding outside. Being in South Dakota, you never know what it's going to be like. And if you've ever been to South Dakota, you know exactly what we're talking about. It can be 120, it could be negative 48 like it was 2 weeks ago. Obviously, this was not negative 48 outside. But the reason we did this is because she had this vision of having her wedding under the stars, under the moon. She wanted to dance under the moon. And I think there's some pictures in that brochure that you have. But again, creating that ambiance, people saw this picture, and I've had to go on Google, I don't know how many times, to tell people to take this picture off their websites.
Jeremy, how did you project the moon?
The moon is actually just an ellipsoidal, and it's a glass gobo. I believe it's an Apollo gobo.
They have them.
I don't remember, I think it's like HC 1005 or something like that. But just search, and you go to Apollo's website. And again, any of your distributors who carry Roscoe, they probably carry Apollo as well. So again, you'll see some of those in that brochure. The atmospheres that you can create, and tomorrow we're going to touch base a little bit more on that, but the atmospheres that you can create with gobos, patterns, textures, it's really going to open up a lot of avenues for you. I promise you.
And we also make an ellipsoidal too in the Chauvet Professional line, the Ovation.
Yes. Yeah, if you really want a big dog, that's the big dog. Okay, so this I know is in the brochure. This was we actually staged this. This is a photo shoot that we did. And atmospheric effects. Now, I don't really recommend for a wedding using haze, using fog, because they don't really want, they don't want that effect. They want this elegant effect. The easiest fixture or the easiest unit to use in any facility that you work at is the Nimbus. I had someone ask me about atmospheric effects. The Nimbus, you will not, unless they have smoke detectors in their floor, you will not trigger this. You will not trigger smoke detectors in a facility because that CO2 haze will not get above their waist unless you're in a negative 48 degree outside
Or you're about as short as I am.
oh yeah, you would lose Beth.
I've been engulfed up to about my mid-chest sometimes.
We
I'm
still
sure
love you,
of that.
Beth, though.
You all
We
love
still
me.
love you.
I shrink.
So just to give you an idea on how you can create a very cool ambiance. We actually have
DJ Mikey Mike is going to come up and show us that later.
DJ
so
Mike
come
is
on
going
down.
to. Yes. I'm going to show you something that we do for our first dances or for our cloud dances. And by using moving heads, again, it creates a production style event. You know, brides don't want these dots all over them when they're having their dance for their first time, their first dance. They want something that's going to make them look like a princess, something that's going to make them look amazing. And One of the things that we do is we just do a simple scan. So imagine fog, imagine your Nimbus right here, right now, and I'm going to show you here, I'm going to show you a quick video on it. And I don't want to touch too much on the Nimbus because Mikey Mike's got a great presentation coming up for that.
Should we fire it up then, just for a second?
I don't think we have, do we have ice?
Yeah.
We have ice.
Sorry, I love seeing it, so.
Okay. We'll do this for Beth. Just hang in there, sorry everybody. But by doing a slow scan with your movers and throwing a prism on there, when a bride's dancing in the middle of her dance floor and these lights hit her dress, all that sequence, all of that, the beautiful pieces that are a part of that dress are now being highlighted. It's sparkling. That's what they want. They want to look like a princess. And the video that you see here is the movers that we have that are just doing a nice slow scan. Oops. Volume going?
No, your volume's just, on that, yeah.
Nope, not that one.
Ah, we don't need
Well, we have volume.
We can see them.
I would sing it to you, but it's just not the same.
At last,
So you can see by adding the moving.
no one wants to hear me sing, trust me. No one really wants to hear me sing.
Someone take the mic, please.
Sunshine, lollipop, sunshine.
So you can see the cloud, and having those effects go into that cloud, it creates an elegant feel, creates a beautiful feel. Now imagine, actually I'll redo that here. Look at this fog without lights. It's not very impressive. But as soon as you add any lighting in there, if you do a wash light in there, anything, imagine a bridegroom. Imagine our cake dancing right here. You were our cake earlier. So.
Oh, it's cake? Okay.
So if you have a bride and groom dancing on the clouds here, by adding beautiful lighting into that smoke, it gives it another dimension. If you don't do anything with the smoke, it's just smoke. If you just run a smoke machine, it's just a smoke machine. But as soon as you add lighting, it gives it a whole different atmosphere.
You get a lot of condensation when it's first coming out.
Not really, no. There's very little moisture that you're going to get in here. It feels a little bit cool. You're not really going, I mean, I'm standing right here right now, and there's no real moisture or condensation on me. It's not something that's going to affect the dress. So that's, I'm sure, a concern of most brides, is of course they've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on their gown, and the last thing that they want to do is damage it in any way, shape, or form. That's not necessarily going to do that. But you do have to be aware of the warm-up time. So just make sure.
And it does have two plugs. Now, if you're using both of those plugs, do not plug them into the same circuit, because I think they're, what, 1,300 watts a heater? It's very similar, it's very close to that. You do not want to plug them into the same circuit because you will blow the breaker. And then when you go to drop your dry ice and nothing happens, that's because your breaker blew about 15 minutes ago. So make sure you put it on two separate circuits. It's going to be a very big key. And
The cake's here.
bring it in.
I'll bring up the cake now.
Hey, Jay?
Yeah, and actually that's
Jeremy, how about lighting blue LED strips along the front of the dance floor, light up underneath the light?
yeah, absolutely. Any type of wash light, by putting any, I don't have a color that I can put into here, but I don't have it programmed. But any type of, sorry. Oh, well, I gotta unplug it. Am I good? It's all zip tied. You know what?
There you go, Jeremy. Got it.
They're called freedom bars.
Go put it on. Need help switching? I just set them down on their side.
Off those. And then,
Even the red looks great.
yeah. So yes, by adding a wash light into there, again, I mean, you can obviously turn that smoke or that fog any color you want. So how do you charge for a Nimbus? Nimbus, I think they're $7.99, somewhere around there. You can pay your $9.99. You can pay your Nimbus off in 3 events. You can charge anywhere from $275 to $500. The Halloween event we did, we bought 100 pounds of dry ice. Costed us right around $80, I want to say. And we charged $500. We told them we had fogged the entire evening. And again, I mean, all I had to do was 2 of those events, and I have the thing paid off. But I'm sure there's show specials.
$850 is a show special.
Thank you, God.
Jeremy, how did you keep, though, it takes an hour and a half to heat up, and, or, you know, I guess you can use the 2 plugs, but what was the recharge time then for the water when you used the 2 plugs?
You know, if you're running both plugs, I would say the reheat time is probably right around a half hour. So when we use this, we'll actually use about 50 pounds a night, and we'll use it obviously for their first dance. We will use it for the first slow dance of the night for everybody. And then we'll use it for random songs, you know, and I do not recommend using it for a fast dance because yes, it does put a little bit of condensation on the floor. The last thing you want to do is people break dancing and break a leg. So use it during slow dances. And I would also recommend, and you know what, I'm gonna cut it off there because I know Mikey Mike's gonna be touching base on a lot of this. And trust me, he's actually been doing cloud dances a lot longer than I have. And he's phenomenal at it, so I'm looking forward to that seminar. One of the new things Chauvet DJ has is IP fixtures, and they're actually IP fixtures on the stage. Is that correct, Alan?
Yes.
Our photographer. The IP fixtures gives you so much more versatility and flexibility because how many of you guys want to put your fixtures outside not knowing what the weather's going to do? Nobody, except for Jeff. The reason IP fixtures are so popular is because you can use them inside, but you can also use them outside. You can accent trees, you can accent outside tents, you can do inside tents. You know, there's a lot of things you can do when it comes to IP fixtures. I'm from Sioux Falls. This is our Falls Park, Sioux Falls Park, and this was actually this was from that snowball event we did as well. And we had IP fixtures right there, just on an easy color fade. And all it did was just turn that frozen water, that ice sculpture basically, and it just created beautiful patterns and colors on the falls. We charged $3,500 just to light up the falls like that. Again, you don't sell the fixture, you sell the effect you're creating. This is an outdoor event we did. You can see all the trees. We have trees that are blue, red, purple. Again, there's so much potential. If you're doing outside events, there's so much potential in upsells because of IP fixtures, because you can leave them outside overnight. Hopefully no one steals them.
Drum roll, please. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Ooh, come on, drum roll, people. I have a cake.
Jeff made us a cake.
Jeff made us a cake.
I wouldn't eat it.
His decorating skills are marvelous.
I bet it tastes like cardboard. Again, this is actually the next year. We did the same exact event, but we used different colors this time. We used yellows, blues, reds. Oh, you can't see the reds here, but they're off on the side. Yeah, actually, someone had emailed me. I don't know if he's here. Mark Gonzalez? No? Mark Gonzalez asked me about putting a monogram in a pool. When you're putting a monogram, I'm off the IP thing right now. When you're putting a monogram in the pool, make sure you have it as straight into the pool as possible. Any type of angle, water is going to create a refraction, and it's going to create difficulties in reading what it looks or what it's supposed to be.
And make sure it knows how to swim and it has a buddy.
What the monogram or what the Gobo is actually doing is it's hitting the bottom of the pool. Okay, it's not floating in the water or anything. It's at the bottom of the pool, and you obviously want your water to be as still as possible. So if you are, I'll do a video on that if you want to check out the shop time videos powered by Chauvet DJ. This was an outdoor event we did. We used the IP fixtures to light the outside of the tent and just put a nice red, and then also all of the trees around that as well. This is the inside of that tent. And the patterns, the textures, I talked about it before. Creating the ambiance outside and creating the ambiance inside. When you do outside lighting, this client understood that there is absolutely no lighting out there except for what we provide. So by lighting up trees and lighting up certain things outside, we're creating the safety factor as well. So keep that in mind. They'll pay for that. This tent lighting, well, this event right here, that you saw the outside lighting, and there's some of the things you haven't seen that we didn't have pictures on. But just to show you how you can create great profits, this event right here was over $17,000 just for lighting. I made my quota in one event in 1 month. So again, you have to understand what you're selling. You're not selling the fixture, you're selling the atmosphere, you're selling the experience that you're going to be able to create. Necessities and accessories, or accessories and necessities. Some of the things that are important in our setups, one of the things I'm really excited about, how many of you guys have seen the glow totems yet? Glow totems, right here and right here. Okay, what's the convenience of the glow totem? Yes, they look nice, but you know what? Right now I'm packing totems in my van. That's taking up half my van right there. These glow totems break down and they fit in a nice carry bag, and then you have your top plate and your bottom plate. That bag will now fit in my van, and it's only 3 inches tall, as opposed to 12 inches tall with another 12-inch box truss on top of that. So if you're looking for something convenient, easy, and I can tell you, I've looked at all of the models that are out there. How many of you at 12 o'clock at night, when you're tired, you had a huge event, you're exhausted, you want to go get a hex wrench, and you want to take every little piece apart? Don't want to do that, do you? These are constructed so that way, all you have to do is pop the pins out, you collapse it down, it's ready to go. It's very easy, it's very simple, they're very affordable. The other nice thing, and I have a shop time video on it, the other nice thing is, again, it gives you versatility because you can use them besides just using them as a glow totem. And I'll have that video launched today. I'll put that up so you guys can take a look at that. You can actually find them on Disc Jockey News. Go to that website, and all the brand new videos that come up, it's going to give you the most up-to-date video. I will put that up actually as soon as I'm done here. I'll have that video live, and you can see exactly how to utilize those glow totems in a whole different matter. So the necessities and accessories. I actually made this before I got to experience the easy pins, but the mounting, we have just a regular black steel bar, and we put all of our pin spots on that black steel bar, and then we had to run the cords through the ceiling. I should just eliminate that because now I have this. So again, if you want an investment for 2014 where you're going to get the best return, that's the way to go. I talked about when you have a higher ceiling and you're going to get a broader beam on these easy pins. If you are 20, I would say 30 feet up, you're going to fill a lot of that table. That's exactly what we did here, but actually we used the original Rain, the original Chauvet Rain 56, and we created that spot. Now you actually have the color gels if you want to do certain colors in there. You can create, again, the further away you go, obviously that beam's going to get bigger. So if you want to create a nice little ambiance on the table, it gives you that option. Excuse me. Right here, basically the glow totems right here. Again, the spandex, I have spandex on all of my totems. Don't get me wrong, the industrial look is great for schools, for corporate events, but for a wedding, they want something classy. One of the most exciting things that came out last year from Chauvet DJ was the white 350s. If you haven't seen them, check them out. The reason I like the white is because if you have a white spandex, and I'm just, not to put it down, but you see this beautiful white spandex over here, and then you have a black fixture on the top. It just doesn't blend in. That's exactly why they came up with the white fixture, so that way it feels like it's all one piece, as opposed to the totem and the fixture. Yes, Beth?
Yes, we have many white fixtures. Did you sense that I was going to interrupt you?
I knew you were.
You knew that. You know that. We have a full white package actually of both rechargeable lithium-ion batteries here. So we have our Freedom series. We were showing the Par Quad 5. You have the Easy Par and the Slim Par, as well as the Intimidator 350 spot in white. So you can really satisfy all of your bridal needs with white fixtures. A lot of event planners now are really looking for the white fixtures too when they're making their designs. They're looking for that clean, open look. They want to be able to wash the room in color and not have the fixtures stand out. The reason we have these up here, of course, is they're our new and nifty Intimidator 400 IRCs, so I want to show them off. But please take a look at our white fixtures, because everything's better when you can change its color from time to time. We're like zebras.
Let's see, next thing here. Filters. By using the LS70 or the LSF75, by using simple color filters, again, you can create patterns that are matching the room. So if you don't like the cool white, put a filter in there and match the color. If I wanted red patterns here, I put red in there. If I wanted blue in there, I put blue in there. Again, you have to understand their colors, you have to understand their theme that they're going for, and just make sure it fits. So, how much for a wedding? I just talked about it. Understand their theme. You cannot sell a couple or a client if you do not understand what they're looking for. Do not try to sell them things they don't need. They say, no, we just want this, we just want this. Listen to them. If they say, well, what are my options? That's when you start going in and you saying, well, let's figure out what you're looking for. Understand their colors. If you understand what shabby chic is, if you understand all these themes, you're gonna understand what their colors are. If you don't know, go on to Pinterest.
Pinterest.
Sorry.
We love Pinterest.
As you can tell, I use Pinterest all the time.
Oh, come on.
Go on to Pinterest and search for themed weddings. You're gonna find shabby chic is gonna be light pinks. It's gonna be muted greens. It's going to be yellows. That's a shabby chic feel. So again, understand their theme, understand the colors that are gonna create that theme. You need to be the professional. Excuse me. Understand their location. I talked about a facility that we went into, and I can't go in there and use uplighting. I have to use wash lighting because the wash lighting looks so much better and it works so much better. And again, I have pictures to prove that to them. So understand the facility that they're at. If they're at a facility that's all windows, you need to figure out how you're going to be able to use ambient lighting to create an atmosphere in there when it's all windows.
Yeah, there is a big issue with ambient lighting. You know, you'll notice all the booths that we do on major trade show floors, unless it's a lighting show where it's a dark show, we have to put covering over that. Duvetine is your friend. Black Duvetine is your friend. It's also important that you, as we were talking about before, having that relationship with the venue so that you can go in and do those site inspections prior to setting up your lighting design, doing, if possible, a dry run so that you can get an idea of what it's like, especially when you're using atmospherics like the Nimbus, you know, because if there is air conditioning that comes in there and it's blowing it in a different way, well, guess what? That magical moment might not happen. But if you knew about that beforehand and you had some cardboard and duct tape, because I've done that, you can avert that major disaster. So, you know, again, it's all about understanding the venue, understanding the colors, the lighting scheme, and using your expertise.
Yep, and make sure that you work with the venue. And what I mean by that is, if you're the lighting designer, you should not be just in control of your lighting, you should be in control of their lighting. If you have to turn off their fluorescent lights to create your ambiance or to create the ambiance, you need to do that. If you can dim down the lights, you need to do that. But you need to create the atmosphere you're going for. And if you have to turn off their lights and you have to play around with their lights, I would recommend, again, being the expert. Mitch? Be the expert. Don't give them your opinion, give them your expert advice. Actually, sorry, I want to go back here. So when they ask how much, if you have not educated yourself, you're going to be that starting limit DJ. You're going to be down here. Okay? If you want to raise your standard, you want to be the best in your business, go educate yourself. I'm talking about master ceremonies trainings. I'm talking about entertainment experience. Again, these are workshops that I've taken, and it's allowed me to become better at my craft. If you want to be better at your craft and lighting design, go get education. Go take the Chauvet DJ Academy. Just go through there.
It's free. It's free. Yay!
And you win stuff.
Ooh,
You
free
get
stuff.
points. You can get free stuff.
Points and swag and stuff.
And again, utilize myself. I would be happy to answer any questions that you guys would have on any type of lighting design. The shop time videos, I think there's 30 some out there right now. If you haven't seen all 30 of them, I'm not asking you to go watch all 30 of them. But again, the reason I'm putting them out there, I'm not here to make money. I'm here to educate every single person who wants to become better in their craft of lighting design. So the add-on services, imagine if someone walks in to an event you're doing and they see all of the beautiful uplighting you're doing. Can you imagine if they come up to you and say, hey, do you do DJing as well? Imagine if your DJ service was the add-on because they saw what you did as a lighting designer. I had that happen to me 3 weeks ago. I was setting up a wedding, and if you want to see that wedding, I'll actually have that in our presentation tomorrow. But I was setting up a venue, and I had 2 couples come in. I booked 2 couples, those 2 couples the next week because they saw what I was doing with the ambiance. And next thing you know, they're booking our DJ services as well. Become good friends with your photographer, your venue, and your cake people. They will love you. They will sell you. Right here, you have a cake. Any cake decorator, any cake designer would love for you to highlight their cake. And if you do that every single time you work with that cake decorator, they're gonna sing praises because now you are making them look like a rock star. It's not just a lost piece of artwork. You highlighted it and it made it beautiful. Photographers, if you give them great ambient lighting, you give them a great atmosphere, and they take pictures, and now they're showing clients of weddings that they've done with you, and now they say, who did that lighting, who did that DJ service? Again, it's giving you the opportunity to get your business card, which is your work, in front of so many different people. You have something to say about that?
Yes. Part of it too is also making sure that you communicate with these other vendors. You know, I think the open communication beforehand, both meeting with them prior to the actual event, going down through what your timeline is as far as any introductions that you may be doing as a mobile DJ, allowing them an idea of letting them know what kind of lighting fixtures that they're using, especially if they're going to be videotaping them, because you want to ensure that what they're going to be seeing is flicker free, which, you know, the majority of our lighting is flicker free, which is very important because you don't want these moments messed up by some weird strobe light effect in the back of it. And I think also getting an idea of what shots they're looking to get for the bride and their portfolio, and making sure that you highlight them with the correct lighting. So I think that's really a key, is understanding what the photographer is looking for and how you can enhance that. Because if you make their photography look good, they will recommend you.
Absolutely. You know, speaking of that, talking to your facility, when it comes to an introduction, and actually we have, let's see, back to the moving heads. Oh, I'm gonna have to open it up here.
And you're using Show Express. Yay! Who here uses Show Express? Can I get a what? Who here doesn't use Show Express? Why? Are you afraid of it?
No, it's Luminaire. I use Luminaire because I can use it on my iPad.
You can do that with Show Express too. Yeah.
We'll show you all.
We'll show you all of that. We have Show Express trainings too.
Again, she talked about the entrance. We actually created that wedding that we did 3 weeks ago. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But their entrance, I tell you what, when I can do an entrance and I get the chills, I just created something really cool. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about what that entrance was all about tomorrow. And if you can create an atmosphere and you can create something that gives you the chills, you're changing lives. You're creating something unbelievable. I do lighting almost every week, every weekend. And you get those events that just, you feel like it's taking you to a whole different place. With introductions, again, if you're using moving heads, you should be using them in DMX. If you're just using them in standalone, you might as well have just gotten the Swarm 5. Okay? When we do our introductions, It's gonna get bright over there in a second. When we use our moving heads, oops, oh, there we go. We'll use that as a door spot, so when that bride and groom comes in, they feel like a rock star.
Look at that bright room.
Told you it's bright. Sorry, I got it. There you go. Using the right marketing tools. Again, photographers, different professionals that you're working with. Those are marketing tools for you. The other marketing tool, right there.
You have one on your table, each one of you. So this is a brochure that we put together last year. What it is a valuable tool that you can actually download for free off of our website and plug in your own logo and your own contact information. It has various different looks. This is geared towards the bride. All right, so this is a selling tool that you would be able to hand to the bride and say, these are the kind of looks that we can create utilizing lighting. You don't have to put it together. We spend thousands and thousands of dollars in photography and all of that other fun stuff. And if you're a VIP rewards member, what you can do is also redeem 50 VIP rewards points, and we will do the artwork for you by dropping in your logo and all of that, and then sending you a print-ready file for you to be able to print out at your local printer. So again, these are great tools because what you're doing is you're selling to the bride. You're not selling the way you think you would be selling, and we base this very much on research, looking at the Knot, Pinterest, looking at what the trends were in lighting, looking at what the trends were overall in wedding design, and ultimately figuring out this is the way that we can best help you as a mobile DJ, as a lighting production house, to be able to sell your services. So definitely make yourself available to this.
And if you're going through there and you sell something to the bride, she goes, oh, I love that picture, I want that. You're thinking, great, I don't know how to do it. Contact us.
We'll let you know. We'll tell you.
Yeah, we'll let you know exactly how to create that.
Jeremy has done some open source on Show Express for us too, where you could download, and you can contact Jeremy about this, but if you buy our Freedom Fixtures, he has actually made some of his programming available via Show Express that you can download those macros, so it's approved. Not saying that you're idiots, but I am. So I could actually do a lighting design in a wedding, and I'm not a lighting designer.
What's the website for the?
The website for this is actually our regular Chauvet DJ website, so it's chauvetdj.com. On the chauvetdj.com website, there is a section called Tools for Profit. And on the Tools for Profit, not only can you download this, but you can also download Nimbus posters that you can plug your logo onto, and other marketing materials that we're going to be making available. So the goal is, we know that you don't always have the resources of a full marketing department. We do. So we are trying to make more and more marketing resources available for you guys so that you can download them, send them to your local printer, go to Kinko's, you can have posters, you can have brochures, you can have all sorts of flyers and things like that that you can utilize to position yourself within the market and make yourself the leader in lighting in your marketplace.
And if you want to just send them the digital, if they say, well, just email me something, send them the digital.
There you go.
It's PDF.
It's a PDF. Very easy.
So how do you upsell the upsell? Freedom Fixtures, battery-powered fixtures, the easy pars. When you can run a fixture that has no cords, that gives you a huge advantage. Because if you look at this picture, this is the room that I talked about. You have to do wash lighting in. If you do uplighting, you're going to have to put your uplights every 2 feet to create the ambiance you want to. Because you can see there's breaks, there's doors, there's air walls. Over here, over on the far side, there's countertops. I mean, it's just so broken up. By doing a wash, it just fills that whole area with color, as opposed to trying to create that barcode effect. So, can't really see it here, but you can see these cords right here. I tried to tuck those as much as I could up against the wall. I don't like using tape, because sometimes the facilities get a little touchy about that. But you can see what it looks like with using cords. It's just not clean. Is the bride and groom going to notice that? Maybe, maybe not. Are the client or the guest going to notice that? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm so anal about this stuff, I noticed that. And you have this beautiful room, and then you have power cords running everywhere. So what you do is you get the Freedom Series.
Look, Ma, no cords.
Look, Mom. This allows you to have complete control of the fixture. The Easies do not have, that's the difference between the Easies and the Freedoms. The Freedoms have DMX, they have wireless DMX in them. The Easy Pars do not, but they are battery powered. They have a very good battery life. With the Freedom series, the Freedom series gives you the flexibility of the battery. It also gives you the flexibility of the DMX. And I can tell you, by using a battery-powered fixture, using a Freedom fixture, it allows you to put things in places that don't have outlets. For instance, we have this air wall right here. We didn't have any outlets on that air wall, so we put 2 Freedom fixtures right there. And again, it just gave us that flexibility to kind of place them wherever we want. Tomorrow, our setup will actually show you how to use the Easy Wedge and how you can use those under tables to make your tables glow.
And more importantly too, think about the increased profit when you reduce the setup time. So you are no longer running cords and wires. You're not worrying about power. There's also challenges in some venues of having correct power. And some venues require you to bring in the additional power that you need for lighting versus having that on them. So this increases your profitability substantially just in time alone, because you know what? When you're done, you pick it up and you go.
You put it back in the case.
And you put it back in the case. And we also have charging cases too, so that you can, oops, I turned it off. Sorry.
I had somebody steal one of mine at a wedding I did.
You know, there is always a challenge with that, and you're hoping that that isn't going to happen. You know, you can reorder another one, which is fine. In instances like that, I don't know how you write your contracts, but there should always be some sort of clause when you're bringing in lighting fixtures that any theft of, you know, your product, you know, needs to be covered through that. You know, your insurance is also an important thing. Make sure that you insure your fixtures. It's very, very important. And you know, it's just a shame. Can I ask what type of event it was?
It was a wedding.
It was a wedding. It was a wedding. Wow. I could see that like a prom or something like that, when someone would like pick it up.
Hotel staff.
Hotel staff. Yeah, hotel staff. Risk the hotel staff before you leave.
I wish I knew who to bring.
DJ. Always blame the DJ.
Always blame it.
Talking about Uplight covers. The Uplight cover originally came out because of the incandescent, the halogen Uplights that were out there. It helped from burning, it helped from just aesthetics. I mean, they're not attractive. Can you use them with that? Is that going to keep someone from stealing it? Probably not. I mean, if they really want to steal it, they're going to steal it. If you have a fixture that is wired in, power, DMX, and they really want that fixture, they'll steal it. So it's, I mean, really, they can steal anything.
They really suck.
You could be out on the loading dock, next thing you know, you come back and one of your speakers is gone. You know, you never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, I don't really know if a facade in front of the fixture, I don't know if that's really going to help with theft or anything. But that's, you know, I could be wrong. That might be the answer.
Does it affect the lighting if you decide you want to do that?
Really? How far out are your fixtures from the wall? Right up against?
I think you just trip over that too.
I was going to say, I don't know how the facade's going to...
I don't know.
Huh. It's interesting. Yeah.
Put a light on the facade. However, when the light goes down...
So, and again, if you're going to be here tomorrow, I'm going to talk about how to set up a room with fixtures being wireless DMX and battery powered. How, and I actually timed this out. It took me 2.5 hours to do it normally. And then to do it with wireless DMX and wireless power took me 15 minutes.
Ooh.
So imagine just how much money you're saving in time.
How much is your time worth?
So one of the questions I said to ask me later was what? Great, I'm glad everyone was listening. The question I told you to ask at the end was, how do you get your uplights in a facility where they have their own uplights? Right. Jeez.
Good question. Good question.
We're just going to start over. We're going to go back to uplighting here.
Okay, there'll be a question and answer session at the end, everyone.
So you have to understand, there's actually facilities that we will not work at because they are not in the best interest of the client. If they are coming in with uplighting and you're not allowed to bring in your uplighting, then you take it to a whole different level. If all they're doing is static uplighting, and they want more than that, the facility's not going to be able to do that. But if you can go in and you can show them what you can create with the dance, with the ambiance changing during a first dance, if you can show them the color fades you can create, the energy you can create during a first dance, or I'm sorry, not a first dance, but when the party's going on, if you can show them the energy that you can create and the facility can't do that, you're going to be a shoo-in. Again, if the facility is not in the best interest, you probably shouldn't be working there. So here's an example, here's a video of showing my awesome mixing skills, but you'll actually be able to see, just with head table uplighting, just uplighting on the far side of the room and 2 uplights back by my DJ booth. All wireless DMX, all battery powered. It shows you that you can create the ambiance in a room by using those simple fixtures. Okay, so here's the music. You can't hear my mixing skills. But you can see, a facility is not going to be able to do that. If they say, oh, well, we can make it fade colors, okay. So when my song goes from 86 beats to 128 beats, you're going to be able to match that? If you can create the ambiance and the energy because of Freedom Fixtures, you're going to be the lighting that they're going to want. And if you can show that to them, show them a video of you being able to do that. So again, 2.5 hours of work down to 15 minutes of work. My time is valuable to me. I have 3 girls. I have a very understanding wife. And if I can knock 2 hours and 15 minutes off my setup time to be with them, I'm going to do it. So that brings us to the end. Mitch, I don't even want to know where your head was at. No, that's probably the truth. So what I want to do is just kind of open it up. How much time do we have, Beth?
Right now we have 6 minutes.
6 minutes? Okay. I'm going to open up for questions. And if you are currently not signed up for Randy Bartlett's 1% solution, sneak in the doors. It's going to be a great presentation. I'm very fortunate to have that series and to take away from that series. And also Mikey Mike, again, he's going to be doing the seminar on the cloud dance. He's going to go into more depth. And I apologize I had to cut you off regarding the cloud dance. But again, I'm not going to lie, I know how to do the cloud dance, but he is amazing at the cloud dance and he knows how to sell that cloud dance. So if you want to understand more about that, make sure you come to his seminar after the 1% solution. So questions? Yes.
Can we just see the pin spots on the cake?
Yeah.
Just how that.
Absolutely. Let me just jump up there real quick. So obviously, and we're in a ceiling height of about 6 foot, so you got to bear with us on that. 8'5", that's right, we did have to measure that for tomorrow's setup. Yeah, for a cake, I would probably recommend maybe doing two at an angle. And again, if you're using 2, you charge them twice, and they'll pay it. Again, the 75, you can see what the 75 does. And the 75, you can have it bright daylight, and that cake's still gonna be beautiful. Yes?
Yeah, do they, did you say they come with lenses too, like a lens?
Filters?
No, a lens that makes it wider. A lens, spots.
No. Actually, there is a filter that Chauvet Professional has. They have a 20 by 1 or 20 degree, so it adds some spread to your beam. That would probably be your best. It's kind of a frost, but the purpose of it is to create more of a wider beam for you. So that would be one of the options you'd want to look at. The filters that come with the 6-pack, red, green, blue, yellow, and the warm white. And you know what? You want to pull out that warm white? I'll show you exactly what that warm white looks like, and you'll be able to tell the difference. Yes?
The projector, what projectors did you use to create those 2 patterns, and where do you get the Gobos for those 2 patterns?
The Gobos, again, I believe they're a Roscoe. Any ellipsoidal will do it. Obviously the 75, with the technology that it has, it gives you a lot more flexibility because of the built-in DMX and the brightness of the 75. I have the 5. Truthfully, I would spend the extra money to get the 75.
And all product that you see here is also for sale. We have IDJ Now right here in the back of the room. They will be able to take any orders for you. They are also offering shipping, so you don't have to schlep the stuff back home. And someone else had a question? You had a question?
He was asking how much for the 75s.
The 75s?
Maybe that's not the best question.
I don't know that. I mean, math is $4.99. So that's the manufacturer's asking price is $4.99. Now, of course, $4.25 show special. $4.25. Yeah, 75 off.
So here's the filter. It is not. I'm sorry if I'm blinding you guys there. It is not a amber. It's a mid-tone, which again we did our homework. We tried, I want to say, about 23 different filters to find the warm white. So you can see the white right here. Actually, I'll do it up here. You can see the white by adding in the warm white. Now you can see the color temperatures. Again, understanding what their theme is, what their color is. Did you want that, Alan? You want to shoot that back up there? So now again, this gives you more flexibility. You don't have to use a cool white on a warm white LED. You are actually using a cool white LED and just putting a simple filter on it. And you can see you're not getting a lot of drop in the lux that's coming out of this fixture. Hot pink, truthfully, you can get a sheet, I think they're 24 by 24 inches. You can get them on Roscoe, you can get them on Apollo. I know there's other ones. But yeah, just... Oh, there you go, there's pink. I didn't know. I missed the pink. Other questions?
Any other questions?
Yes.
Shop 50 you're talking about.
Yep.
75 as well. Right, what is it? Main difference?
In the Gobo 50, in the Gobo Shop 50. The Gobo Shop 50 has rotating Gobo, and it also has a remote that comes with it. So you can actually control, you can zoom it, you can focus it, all with the controller. Is it as bright? It is a 50 watt LED, and these are a 75. The technology, the optics in it is going to be, it's going to be a very nice optic, so a nice crisp, clean look, or a pattern. And I can show you I can put this back up. Yo. I didn't DMX this one. So you can see, I mean, that's pretty bright. It's up against a projector that has roughly 3,200 lumen. And that fixture right there, you can obviously see that monogram over the top of that. This is the 75. Yep. The 50 will be here tomorrow. Yep, and we're going to do actually a couple different things with the 50. If you want to see how to use your 50 in more than just a Gobo style setting, we're going to have Gobos, but we're also going to use those Gobo shots as moving texture uplights. So if you want to see something cool, make sure you come check that out tomorrow.
I still get a job.
The 75 does not have a rotating Gobo. So you can use these for patterns and textures, but for a textured uplighting or a rotating uplighting, these wouldn't work just because the Gobo's in a slot. ATC Source 4 doesn't have a Gobo, unless you get a Gobo rotator, yes. You spend another, I think it's like $350 for a Gobo rotator. So, or you could just spend almost, how much is the Gobo shot?
Yeah.
Same price.
Can you do two
rotators in
Gobos
there
on one of these 50s?
No, one Gobo wheel.
It's one Gobo wheel, but could you rig something up like that?
It's a single slot Gobo.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do a video on this. I know exactly. Yes. Yep. To create a shutter, a flutter effect.
Apollo app on the phone has that you put the two wheels rotated whichever one you want. It looks really cool. I want three those.
That fixture that's like the $1,200 fixture. We talked about something like that.
Alrighty.
Yes, I do.
All right, well, I'd like to thank you all for joining us.